That is 4 out of 9 characters. Half of the characters in the game are Anomaly. What is the main competition to Zenless Zone Zero? Is the thing that fights with them almost at the same release schedule. From the very beginning of Zenless Zone Zero's official launch, if you don't go something unique, you don't go Anomaly, what else is everyone playing? The timing down. I think this is something important. Something that I wanted to get off my chest. My massive chest for a while. Massive hairy, wait, what? Let me just share with you guys something that I'm thinking about the game state now. Do you know why Hoyoverse is releasing Anomaly back to back right now? Doesn't it seem very strange? A game that has 5, is it 5? Attack, Anomaly, Defense, Support, Stun, right? 5. A game that has 5 actions, but in the last 5 banners, Qingyi into Jendo, we had Caesar, Bernice and Yanagi. Lighter, Haramusa, potentially Miyabi. If Miyabi is Anomaly, that is 4 out of 9 characters. Half of the characters in the game are Anomaly. That does seem a bit sus, and there is a reason for that. And I can explain to you the thought process of why so many Anomaly characters are released right now. The overall arcing theme, right? If you think about the thematic thing, you are now in charge of sales in Zenless Zone Zero. You see your numbers after you release, always the game goes a little bit downhill, and you're wondering, what is the main problem with Zenless Zone Zero? What can I do to make it better? And you can see that in the reactions that they do. They are changing things, they are reducing TV, they are making different game modes, increasing the activity, introducing quality of life. They know their game isn't as perfect as what game developers would like to believe in, and they are making active changes. What is the main competition to Zenless Zone Zero? Is the thing that fights with them almost at the same release schedule. From the very beginning of Zenless Zone Zero's official launch, they have been fighting for market share for a very, very close other game, which is Wuthering Waves. What is the difference? And that is a question that a lot of people are asking, and I get asked also on stream quite often. What is the difference between Wuthering Waves and Zenless Zone Zero? And if you are the marketing manager right now, you look at one game, one is Unga Bunga, the other game is Unga Bunga and TV. That doesn't sound like a very convincing argument like to attract people into your game. So how do you distinguish a game? They look at some of their other successes in their other games, and that is Genshin Impact. What is Genshin Impact doing better than a lot of other games, other than the whole WoW is a really, really family-friendly game, you have great story and stuff? At its core, what makes the combat exciting about Genshin Impact that others find it hard to copy is the elemental reaction system. You can freeze enemy and you overlay a burn, it becomes melt. You apply water, you put fire, it becomes vaporize, you do more damage. And all these interactions makes it interesting. So personally for me, when I joined Genshin Impact, I found that very, very exciting. And I think that they are trying to bank on this anomaly system to differentiate themselves from their competitors, especially in the early stage. Let's be really honest, Zenless Zone Zero is still in an infancy baby stage that you are still trying to find your ideal group of audience. And by doing this anomaly focus early on, you start to break away from just that unga bunga button mashing and boss mechanics into something a little bit different of a combat style. And that is how I think they are planning to bridge out the difference and why we see so many anomaly characters. That's not all. It's kind of stupid if they just focus on just differentiating their competitors, because there's so many ways to differentiate yourself from your competitors, right? The other thing that is actually not talked about quite a lot is how cheap anomaly characters are. I don't mean these characters are cheap. Freak. They're hot AF. But if we are talking about cheap in terms of get going, anomaly characters don't need their signature. They don't even need a lot of good gear. One of the reasons is because there's a lot of free-to-play alternatives. You can use Rainforest Gourmet. You have Weeping Gemini, which are all freaking craftable on almost any single anomaly character in the game. Like both of these, either one of them can be used on almost any single anomaly character in the game right now. All craftable, all free, very accessible to new players, especially if you're trying to have audience retention, you're trying to grow your market share, you're trying to be unique, you want to have these options available for players. I think this is it's a smart angle of doing things. On the flip side, what is the alternative? If you're talking about alternatives in games in general, if you don't go something unique, you don't go anomaly, what else is everyone playing? You're playing crit, right? That's all you're doing. You're just going for crit. And crit is a lot more whaley than anomaly. Why is that? These things make a massive difference. When your signature versus a relatively cheaper one, this is like, I have it at level 50 out of 60. So this is 17%. This is 24%. So already like a massive difference in the stats. And crit can only be gotten by lucky drive disc rolls or wailing for more. And drive disc rolls is not as easy to farm as Anomaly. Because Anomaly, what am I looking for? I just need the main stats. Look at this absolute abomination of a gear. I don't care about that. All I need is, for at least the start, Anomaly proficiency is all I need. And I have like 80%. 20% of the effort gives me 80% of gains. That's what makes Anomaly like so friendly for players as well. So 2 things already that is like very easy. And of course, there's a third, right? Mouthful right now, but if you're finding these videos helpful so far, do like and subscribe for more of such future content. Do like to talk about a lot about game aspects as well. But number 3, I think the third point is very important, and why, if you look at trends, you actually understand a lot more about the game and where it's going to go. One important thing about Anomaly is, in order to make Anomaly work, you can't have them in isolation. You can't have these units as like one character, one character, one character. If you had Yanagi without anyone else, you had Bernice without anyone else, they will absolutely be very, very bad in the grand scheme of things. By introducing 4 of them back-to-back, 3 of them back-to-back rather, because Jane Doe is out, and maybe someday another character, Miyabi, if she's Anomaly or whatever, comes into the game, then we have more characters. By introducing all of them at the same time, you have more characters, making them more useful. You increase each of their utility. So in the early game, people are worried, power creep, power creep, power creep. Why my character gets power creep? This is the opposite of that. Every new character that's added into the game, your previous characters that have been released increase in value because of the variety of team combination. It's very big brain, it's very smart. It's countering the power creep worries that a lot of people have in gacha games. By every single character coming in, the previous characters get better because of the nature of Anomaly in this early stage. And that is why we only have 1 A rank Anomaly unit. Very little things to power creep, less fear of power creep. People feel more safer in playing this game for a longer run than maybe another gacha game with less experience, less runway, power creeping characters too early, making players get a bit scared of what's to come. Doesn't help for long-term growth. Hoyoverse is known to have their games go on for years, very long. Look at Honkai Impact 3, how long he has been going. And I think this style of playing and developing the game is very, very smart in the grand scheme of things. Just a quick comment on that. So I like the way that they are doing it, and this is the reasons why I think they are flooding us with Anomaly characters, hot Anomaly characters, for a reason. If you haven't ever wondered what's the reason, I hope that clarified a bit of thoughts. I've been thinking about it for a bit, and yeah, if you found this video helpful, like, comment, and subscribe, and check out these 2 other videos that I think you might like too. See you in the next video.